Joe Klein is quite possibly the smartest, greatest human being to ever walk the face of the earth. Far smarter than anyone who could possibly be listening now. We'll try to talk slowly, and I'll read his words, as many as I can. I'll have to sound some of them out. Joe Klein posted Palin. Here it is. As J. Newton Small notes below. Now, I don't even know who J. Newton Small is, so I'm lost already. Sarah Palin inked some crib notes on her hand in preparation for her big speech.
He's got 3 names, though. He has to be good.
Yeah.
J. Newton Small. You got to be smart.
This has caused glee and derision in the left-wing blogosphere, as has her, rather unsubtle wearing of a joint U.S.-Israeli flag pin. I have no problem with either gesture. Carl Eichenberry, our ambassador in Kabul, has been known to wear a joint U.S.-Afghanistan pin. I've been known to wear a green tie while discussing Iran on television. As for the crib notes, all politicians use bullet points. Some use teleprompters. I don't believe he's got bullet points in those teleprompters. I think he's got every word written in, but maybe it's just me. It doesn't matter what you crib. It matters what you say. And that is where I have a problem with Sarah Palin. What she said was, I'm quoting, again, remember, you're too small and puny to understand most of these words, but just know, if I may translate in advance, you're stupid. That's where I have a problem with Palin. What she said was drivel. No, let me amend that. It was anti-intellectual drivel. Obama is a bad commander-in-chief because he's a law professor. No matter that this bad commander-in-chief has taken more concerted and aggressive action against Al-Qaeda, more drones, more covert actions in Yemen and Somalia, more support for Pakistani military campaigns against the Taliban, more troops for Afghanistan than the baseball team owner who preceded him in office. He is a law professor. He's a member of the elite, which has come to be a term of opprobrium among the nitwit populist of the right, unquestioned increasingly by would-be conservative intellectuals like Bill Kristol. Yesterday, a commentator asked if there was any form of populism that I could support. The answer is yes, democracy. But populism as a movement has a sorry history. It emanates from anger and often ignorance and quickly devolves into bigotry and hatred. Occasionally, populism will produce some good ideas. Listen to this. Occasionally, populism will create or produce some good ideas. The populist movement of the 1890s gave birth to many of the good progressive reforms. Quoting, the income tax, the Federal Reserve System, women's suffering that were enacted in the 20 years of the last century. Hey, Joe, let me ask you this. And I let me speak your nitwitty language. Joe, tell me, which was the first state to give women the right to vote? In fact, it wasn't even a state; it was a territory. And then, which was the first state? And then the second state? Do you know?
Had to be Massachusetts.
No, it wasn't Massachusetts.
New York.
No.
Vermont.
No, it was off in the wilds. Oh.
What?
They had cattle. It was Wyoming and Utah back in the 1800s.
What?
Yes,
they abuse women in Utah.
First, I know they do. But first, it was out in the territory near Wyoming. It was in the 1860s, someplace, maybe 1869.
Impossible.
It happened. You know why, Joe? It didn't sweep the United States. All of the other places like Massachusetts and New York and Rhode Island. Oh, Rhode Island is so lovely, especially with the mansions there by the water. Do you know why, Joe? Margaret Sanger. We talked about it last hour. Margaret Sanger. See, she was the racist progressive. She tied women's right to vote with a women's right to choose for an abortion. But she went farther than just abortion. She was trying to snuff out all of the Jews. Like you, Joe. Yeah, maybe the Klein family could have been wiped out by Margaret Sanger. Some of those populist ideas that transformed themselves into such beautiful ideas from the progressives.
And because I'm so self-loathing, that's like a marvelous idea.
Oh, love that. So he talks about how great the populist idea that transformed into or transformed into the progressive movement that didn't devolve into bigotry or hatred. I don't think Margaret Sanger was a bigot. Do you? She just wanted to kill all Jews, Irish, Chinese, blacks. A lot of the immigrants had to go. The poor, anybody who had a deformity, or if you just had a big family.
Mm. So that leaves rich
her. The excellent policies and populism sometimes produces almost always is accompanied by social abominations. Populism in the 1890s was accompanied by fierce anti-Semitism and racism. Yes, and it turned into what? Progressives. And the legislative idiocy of prohibition. Prohibition was not populist. It was progressive. Progressive, Joe. Say it with me. Progress. Progressivism. The right-wing populism of the past 30 years has been accompanied by a celebration of ignorance, nativist, anti-immigrant fury. Oh, I know. I'm so furious at those people who are coming in here, through the right channels, filling out the paperwork, letting us know where they are, coming in through the border way, the right way. I just hate them so much. I just hate them. Oh, and I feel so bad for the possible terrorists coming across the border, the drugs that are crossing the border. Those people, we just don't understand them. But I hate those people are coming the right way. Anti-elitism in America is as American as apple pie, and it's a good thing, too, in most cases. This is a democracy. No, it's not, Joe. It's a republic. I can't take this guy. Those who celebrate Sarah Palin's lack of knowledge as a form of authenticity, superior to Barack Obama's gloriously American mongrel authenticity and self-made intellectuality, are representatives of a long-standing American theme, the celebration of sameness and mediocrity, in a country that has succeeded brilliantly because of its diversity and restless, eccentric genius. Indeed, in the truest sense, it can be called anti-American. Joe Klein. I mean, America, we cannot sit down anymore. We can't just take it anymore. You can't say, well, I'll just blow it off. Oh, these people don't matter. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. And I, for one, am sick and tired of hearing these people tell me what my country is and what my country's history is when they have no idea what the history of this country really is. I am so tired of hearing them call it, and this never bothered me. This never bothered. I was always like, whatever. This drives me nuts. We are not a democracy. Every democracy has failed. We are a republic for a reason. Joe, you might want to figure out why that reason is. This guy doesn't listen. He doesn't watch. He doesn't read. He doesn't know who we are. I say those things, and I mean about me. He doesn't read me. He doesn't watch. He doesn't base himself. He calls me a birther. He's so intellectually superior, he can just gather all these things through osmosis. I'll leave it to somebody else to describe what osmosis is. I forgot how stupid you really are.